Hello, welcome to the Intelligent Technologies Live Marathon. I'm Shalindra. You're watching this simulcast live on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. For you to view this episode and other sessions that I run on Emerging Technologies Live, I would request you to follow me so that you can be alerted when a live session is on. So please press the follow and the subscribe button. Please ask your questions in the comment section below, and also let us know if you want to hear from anyone, and I will try to get them here. Omnichannel. Omnichannel is a cross-channel content strategy that organizations use to improve their user experience and drive better relationships with their audience across multiple points of contact. A company with an omnichannel strategy has several data sources. This allows them to understand customer touchpoints better, which then allows them to design customer journey more authentic, tailored to customers' need. But is it profitable? And can we use guided outcomes to quickly get value? Let's ask the expert. Neil. Neil has been in the analytics space for 20 years, all of it with SAP and through its acquisitions. Starting in top-tier support, he worked with some of the world's largest companies in their mission-critical deployments of our software. So without any further ado, let me bring Neil Goodman, Solution Owner for Increased Profitability with Omnichannel Planning. Hi, Neil.
Hey, Shalendra, how are you?
Welcome to Intelligent Technologies Live Marathon.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yourself?
Very, very well. So, Neil, give us an introduction about yourself. Tell us about yourself, where you started and how you reached where you are today in your career journey.
Yeah, so I've actually been with SAP now for over 20 years, believe it or not. Actually started probably 5 companies ago now, and all through the process of acquisitions. So those of you that have been in the analytics space for a while, you'll probably remember Business Objects as a fairly recent company, but even before that, Crystal Decisions, and before that, Crystal Decisions was actually Seagate Software. So I've been in the space for a fair while.
Good stuff. So tell us about this guided outcome, profitability with Omnichannel. So what does that mean? How do you increase profitability with Omnichannel strategy?
Yeah, so it's really designed to help retailers with a fully integrated end-to-end process, Shalendra. And it's also helps for vertical businesses as well too, so that they can help achieve their corporate financial targets and also figure out which products should be sold in which locations, determine how much to buy, and allocate the right quantities to individual stores. Mm-hmm. The unfortunate part is that even today, most companies they still rely on spreadsheets, and the planning process for them is very slow. It's very manual, and to be honest, it involves a lot of guesswork. So in addition to that, the data is usually not very unified. It's all siloed, and it's not very integrated. So what we're hoping to do with this guided outcome is to provide a complete end-to-end process that a retailer can use, so that they can move from the struggles of what they're probably currently doing into much more of a balanced, intelligent, data-driven type model, so that they can obviously get much better results.
Sure. So as you mentioned, and I mentioned in the intro as well, that would mean that you're getting data from almost all the sources or all the touch points a customer will have, and bringing that into one place. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So what the guided outcome actually involves at its heart is the SAP Customer Activity Repository.
Mm-hmm.
So in there, we're gathering and bringing together a lot of the underlying data that probably already exists in the retail's organization somewhere. In addition to that, what we're also doing is there are three add-ons for the customer activity repository. One is merchandising. Second is allocation, and the third is assortment planning. But in addition to that, we really take it to the next level by also including BPC and SAP Analytics Cloud as well too. And Analytics Cloud is really one of the key drivers for this guided outcome, because in addition to all the great functionality that we have within CAR right now, SAC just takes it to the next level by having smart insights and being able to really get to the heart of what's driving the planning process very quickly.
Perfect. So when you're saying that you're getting all the touch point data from customers, whether they are through emails, through direct mail, through phone calls, through watching at the retail store. So what all data points are getting collected?
So on the for omni-channel planning, what we're working on is actually not so much the email end of things.
Mm-hmm.
What we are actually working on is more the data that's actually going into what is fueling a lot of the customers' decisions. So we're taking a lot of past history in
Mm-hmm.
terms of what customers have bought in the past in terms
Mm-hmm.
of certain types of merchandise, certain assortments, where they've been buying it, how they've been buying it, sensitivities to different aspects of the retail organization, and then putting that into models so that we can make a better and much more accurate plan for the coming seasons and for the next allocations.
Perfect. Thinking of the solution, what does it include? So if I'm talking about various products that SAP has, what key products does the solution entail?
Yeah, so we have the customer activity repository.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's three add-ons: merchandising, allocation, and assortment planning, plus business planning and consolidation (BPC), and then SAC as well. Those are the the three main ones, if you would call it, for this guided outcome.
Okay. Okay. Before I get to my next question, we've got more than 40 people watching us at the moment. So, guys, if you've got a question, please shoot that in the comment section and we will take it there. Next question is around the business problem. What kind of business problems are we solving with the current solution?
So, retail is really a challenging industry at its best. I would say that we've talked about a few of the issues already. Some of them are more common than others, unfortunately. There's data silos that companies have to deal with, which may or may not be integrated at all. Most companies, as I mentioned, are actually still just dealing in spreadsheets. And it really becomes a very highly complex and manual effort with a lot of guesswork, to be completely honest. And any of the results that they're getting are becoming very product centric, as opposed to customer centric. So what we're trying to do and overcome those issues is to provide really a unified and trusted data foundation with an end-to-end integrated process. We include modern and visual, intuitive tools that people can use so that they don't have to just be looking at Excel for 8 to 10 hours a day. And it's also, to be honest with you, it's simplified, and there's a much higher focus on higher value work as well too, so that we're getting intelligent recommendations and decision support, and the results are really coming out more customer centric and personalized, so that we're able to go through and have a complete picture, a complete omni-channel picture, which includes not just the traditional brick and mortar retail, but also digital and wholesale as well.
Okay, so you said personalization. So can you explain a bit more around the personalization aspect of it?
So in terms of, yeah, because what we're doing is we're able to go and actually see what has happened in the past, but
Yeah.
from what has happened in the past and the use of SAC, Smart Insights, in the background, the AI is actually able to go through and generate some smart insights for us to tell us what the highest predictors will be for whatever time frame we're looking at. So it's it's very, very good.
Okay. Okay. So what areas of retail is it geared towards? So what aspects of retail are we looking at?
So the guided outcome right now, it's really focused mainly on the needs of fashion and hard lines. But to be honest with you, it really could be positioned to all segments of retail to different degrees, because even grocery and drug stores, let's say, for example, right now, they still carry certain hard lines as well too, that it could be applicable for there. But mainly right now, it's more to do with the push side of the market, which is more the seasonal fashion products. In future, we are going to be looking to enhance it, to bring in more of the whole scenario, which would be more kind of the grocery end of things. So for right now, we're dealing with things like items that have a short product life cycle. There's different categories that need to be bought and sold every season. Things like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've got a few more questions before we get to the audience questions. Again, I would request the audience, guys, there are around about 35 people here online at the moment watching us. Please ask the question in the comment section if you have any, and we will take the questions. Next question. We're going through this COVID-19 situation. Why do you think it is important to talk about a retail guided outcome at this stage?
Yeah, so that's a very, very timely question, because most retailers right now aren't really thinking about the future in the long run. Obviously, there are a lot of more near term decisions that have to be made. So obviously, right now in the world, retail is probably one of the most negatively impacted industries because of the virus. And to be honest with you, fashion is mostly completely shut down entirely. So that's already bringing into play things like winter clearance, what's going to happen with it, spring and summer merchandise that is clogging up the warehouses and not being sold in stores. And it's really highlighted, I think, a lot of additional weaknesses in the existing processes and tools that the retailers may be using. So what this guided outcome really has the added benefit of being able to do is still be able to go through and decide what to do with all this merchandise. Okay, they still are going to need to define what assortments are going to go where and in how much. Now that in today's world may be a lot different than just sending different colored merchandise and sizes to different stores as would be normal. What it might involve now is actually having a much better plan of being able to send certain merchandise to those stores that are still open, or those stores that are actually acting now as pickup locations, and additionally shifting some of that merchandise either into their online store or through other wholesale channels as well too. So it's really actually a good time, believe it or not, that if a retailer is actually able to look at what's happening in their organization at the moment, to be able to make some very factful decisions in terms of where they can be maximizing the results, even in today's world. And hopefully, the new normal that we're dealing with, it will pass, but we also want to be able to make sure that we can actually go through and have proper allocations to maybe different avenues than what had traditionally been done previous.
Okay. You mentioned about a few benefits. Are there any more benefits that you've seen in the market? And are there any proof points for those benefits?
Yeah. So actually, good question. So yes, there are. It's interesting in terms of when the concern for the virus first started happening. We obviously had been talking to some customers about going through and maybe deploying some of our solutions and things like that. But then the natural tendency was to draw back because of the situation. But the interesting thing is that we've seen, even in the last few weeks, a number of those customers actually come back to us and say, okay, we actually do want to start moving forward, because they're realizing that they're actually already going to be needing to be thinking about what's going to be happening in the fall, happening in the winter. And with the situation that we're dealing with right now, they realize that they have to be a lot better prepared. So there's that aspect of it. However, we also have the other group of customers, I'll say, that have already deployed the solution. So we do have a number of good proof points there. Three come to mind off the top of my head, to be honest with you. There's an international multi-brand fashion and jewelry accessories company that is using the solution. Another global fashion company based out of the EMEA. And we also have a national department store in Latin America as well. So all around the world, and different aspects of retail as well. So it's been very good so far.
So any compelling numbers that you've seen that has really helped the organization in terms of benefits?
Yeah.
I don't want you to name the company if you don't want to, but if there are any numbers that you've seen.
Yeah. So it really depends on each individual company, to be honest with you. And to be honest, I think it would be fair to say that for some of the larger companies, they would be more than happy to deal with a couple of additional points around getting either gross margin, net revenue, things like that. So it is variable, but I can tell you that the results that have been derived so far for the retailers that have implemented have been substantial.
Okay. Again, final call for questions before I get to the audience questions and answers. Okay, let me jump into question and answers now. But guys, if you've got any more questions, please mention them in the comment section and I'll take questions one by one. So let's start from Facebook. There are some comments there. And let's take them. Vaibhav B says hi. Hi Vaibhav, how are you? There is Rajiv Shetty. He's saying, hi, this is Rajiv Shetty from Pune. Hi Rajiv, how are you? Anshu Bhaskar says hi. Hi Anshu, how are you? Anshu has a question and she says, I need to know how to implement payroll and success factors for countries not listed like African countries. Now, I'm not sure where that question was pointed at you, but if you want to have a go, Neil.
I would have a go at it if I was involved with success factors payroll and would be able to speak to it, but unfortunately I am not. So I think it's best I
don't. So we'll have to give it a go. Give it to Skip. Okay. Next question is from Samuel Victor. Hi Samuel, how are you? He's saying, what value does the product bring versus standalone bespoke solutions such as Anaplan?
So good question. So the main differentiation with increased profitability for omni-channel planning is that it really is a complete end-to-end solution. So that at the very beginning, when you first come into SAP Analytics Cloud, you're actually on the strategic planning story, which actually goes through and you're actually able to see what the company and corporate targets are for all, not just the highest level, but at the lower levels as well too, so that when you move through the rest of the SAC stories to determine how you're going to get those corporate targets, you actually are operating all within the one environment, and you don't have to move from one tool to another. And like I mentioned earlier, it's all completely end to end and totally integrated. So you're doing everything in the one solution.
So when you say it is totally integrated, is it integrated with the SAP products, or is it integrated with products outside of SAP as well?
So it depends on your level of integration that you're talking about. So the three add-ons for the customer activity repository, those are totally integrated because they're actually just a add-on to the one solution. The SAP Analytics Cloud absolutely totally plugs into CAR. Now, in terms of integration for different data points, yes, we are definitely able to draw in data from different POS systems and all the myriad of different data silos that might be out there.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. Next comment is from Vinay. He says, hi guys, how are you doing? Hi Vinay. Next one is from Vaibhav B. He says, I'm doing good, sir. There is a message from Twitter, losing underscore ints, and she's saying hello. Um, Francis Xavier, he's saying, are there going to be any job loss due to COVID-19? I've been asked that question all the time. I don't think I can answer that question. Do you want to have a go at Neil?
Well, I mean, it's hard to kind of, you know, give an overall answer to that right now because I mean we're still in the middle of it, so I don't think anyone really knows what the final answer to that one would be, myself included, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question by Samuel Victor. He's saying, what happens if the company is using a different CRM system and other point of sale systems? Can it still be integrated?
So yeah, so I mentioned a few moments ago, the customer activity repository is really able to draw in to it a myriad of different data sources, so that if you are having one type of POS system one retailer is using and another different one that another retailer is using, we should have no problems being able to get that information from whatever that POS system is that the retailer has been using.
Okay. Okay, so that ends my questions from Facebook. Let's quickly go to um, LinkedIn and see what is there on LinkedIn. There are 3 comments. Let's see. Okay. So there is a comment from Dallin McLeod. Hopefully I'm getting it right. He's the business analyst at Bingo Industries, and he's saying, hi, Shalindra. Hi, Dallin. How are you? There is a message from Mendu Chakrapani. He's a regular on our show. He's saying, hi, Shalindra. Hi, Mendu. How are you? Dallin has a question, Neil, if you want to answer that. And he's asking, what is the best place to start to become a SAP data scientist? I don't know whether you can answer that.
Well, that's actually a good question, because one of the fellows that I actually work with actually is a PhD and came into SAP with his PhD in data science. So there is the opportunities. It's just simply a case of talking to those different people that you may know and being able to reach out to them, because yes, definitely data science is obviously a growing area for a lot of companies, SAP included.
Okay. Okay. I'll have to take this question. It's an interesting one from Samuel Victor. And he says, for a first-time implementation, how long would it take to deploy the solution and to ensure, assuming a single SAP instance is there?
So if you have an SAP instance in-house already, the time frame, and if we say that if it's an SAP instance, really all we are going to have to do is go through and implement the customer activity repository and obviously the different add-ons and things like that. So once that is done, we then go through and we would want to make sure that our DBS or our services, consulting, whoever was looking after your implementation would be able to go through and again have Analytics Cloud integrated with CAR. None of that is custom work. It is all fairly standard. So it's really going to depend, I guess, in terms of the length of time. how much information across the entire organization they're going to have to be touching and working on, and what the state is within that individual company, because again, it wouldn't be fair to say every company will be able to be deployed within X number of weeks or months, because obviously different organizations have different data silos, and are or aren't integrated. So I can't really give a firm timeline, but it's really going to be dependent on each individual company state.
Can you give a range in terms of the implementation time?
To be honest with you, I really don't think there is an average, because I'm thinking about some of the customer proof points that we talked about earlier in the call, compared to maybe what would be starting out for different retailers, and it can really be a matter of, on the low end, X number of weeks to months, depending upon, like I said, the complexity.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that was me with the questions. Finally, before you go, do you want to leave us with some thought of yours that you'd like to share? Any more information that you want to leave with us?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Shalana. There actually is one other thing that just actually came up last month, and it's timing is everything, they say. And so even though we're in the middle of COVID-19, just last month, Forrester released their wave for retail planning, and SAP actually is now in the leaders quadrant. So we've been able to establish ourselves as being one of the best in breed for the retail planning solutions, and it's getting noticed already. So it's a big cheer to everybody that was involved in that.
Good stuff. Thank you, Neil. Thank you for your time.
Great.
By the way, if you don't mind me asking, what time is it there at the moment?
12:30 in the morning, PST.
So it's more even to say thank you very much, because you've been awake at midnight and past midnight. Thank you very much for taking the time for the Asian audience.
Very welcome, Shailendra. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So that was Neil Goodman, who was talking about increased profitability using omnichannel strategy. So guys, if you think of anyone who you think can be a good addition to this show, we would be more than happy to have them here. Please mention their name in the comment section, and I'll pick that up and reach out to them to get them here. Other than that, thank you very much. Thank you for taking time and watching us. And I'll be back again tomorrow. So stay safe, stay indoors, and